So yesterday we started discussing about functions. How do we deal with functions? Technically, how do we handle the functions? So yesterday's session, I showed you the declaration and definition of function. So usually, we learned about function and we have a function constructor. And anonymous type. So here, when we are defining function and function constructor, actually, some people have doubt like how to write more than one parameter and all this. See, if you know it is a string, then all techniques are same, simple. So technically, how we can manage them, we will see that. All right. So you check from your side, Raj, because from my side, everything is okay. Right. So some people have questions like what is, it's a very simple point actually. Suppose I'm writing a function, some f1 is equal to new function constructor. This function constructor is expecting some arguments. So we are, some people are asking how multiple we can write and all. For example, I'm defining here in the quotes, I'm writing console.log, and it is a statement 1 and semicolon. So console.log and statement 2. So these are multiple statements in a function, and I'm calling the function f1 here. I'm configuring the function here. So let's run this and see here. So let's access that demo, tsc demo.ts and a node demo.js. And it should print those two statements. So that's a very simple approach. The two statements, that means it can identify your statements, it can run your statements. So it's not a very complex thing. It's a very simple point to understand when you are using the function constructor. So this is a simple approach. So any number of statements you can configure, build, and execute. Now some people have some more doubts. Like how function constructor knows it is a statement or it is a parameter, because everything is written in quotations. That is also general development concept, right? So if I write A, B, and if I write A plus B, right? Suppose A plus plus like this I am writing. In this, which are considered as parameters, which are considered as parameters, and which are considered as expressions. Parameters are, what are parameters? A, B are parameters, and expressions, A plus plus is an expression, A plus B is an expression. Am I right? So that means even you write in a string form, even you write in a string form, what you write in that string form, based on that, it can understand that it is an expression or it is a parameter. Understood? So based on what you written in a string, that means, so here I written let function 1 and a function, new function. I written A. Is this an expression? It is not an expression. It is an parameter. So if I am defining A plus B, then it is considered as an expression. Am I right? That means technically parameters, expressions, they have certain standards in programming, how they are defined and where they are defined. These two are very common. How they are defined and where they are defined also important. Function constructor follows all these rules in constructing a function. That means, suppose I created, so A, B like this. That means A, B like this. That means I am creating a function like this. So new function, and I am writing here return A plus B and the parameter A and the parameter B. I am writing like this, return A plus B. And here we need to print 10 comma 20 and console.log, we need to print A plus B here. Now I will save this, I will compile and run this here. So configure and run this here. It shows an error. Why it is showing an error? Because according to the function standards, first you need parameters. Then you need to define what functionality to be defined on parameters. Am I right? What do you say? Am I right? That means first you have to define the parameters and you have to define the functions to happen on those parameters. So that means the first, whatever you are defining, whether it is a parameter or an expression, it can understand that by using its signature. Even it is written in a function, in a string form, it can understand its signature. Due to that, it can build a construct. A function is able to build means a function constructor able to build a function dynamically. That means it has lot of abilities. Even you write in a string form, it can identify what you have written in the string form, its signature. Based on that, it can translate it as an expression or a parameter. So in that case, we need to know that we cannot type as you like, as we want. we have to follow the same tradition and the same functionality to handle the then is expecting only a formal name. It is expecting only a formal name. So this is invalid. It is expecting only a formal name. So this is also invalid. This is invalid. So invalid. You cannot define the type. The type. it is by default any type. Any type. So which uses type inference. Type inference. Which uses type inference. And in operators, while using operators based on the type inference, it will identify the type of value that you are passing. By default, it will be treated as any type. Any type. So that is important. So this is also a key point to understand, because many people are confused about that, how it knows the data type. You are writing in a string now. How it knows about data type? That is formal parameter. Formal parameter need not to be mentioned about the type. It can handle any type if you don't mention. If you define a type, it can restrict the type. But function constructor, by default, every parameter must be any type. Because you are constructing a function. And when you are constructing a function, you have to dynamically define the type for the parameters. So not statically, right? In that case, there will be no type at all, and they will accept any type of value. How to avoid various other types of values passed? You can manage that. For that, you know a lot of other techniques also, right? But initially, this is the basic thing you need to know. Yes, you can do everything. You can do everything. So in parameters, I will show you. You can do everything. So when we discuss about parameters, some more additional concepts you will learn, you will understand. How to handle different types of parameters, I will tell you. This is not the class or the session about parameters in function currently. We are discussing about function constructor. Once you know about parameters, you will get more clarity on other points also, right? Yeah. Initially, because some people are asking the question about this, that's the reason I explained that. Hope everyone is clear with your doubts now. That means related to how function constructor can use multiple parameters, how function can understand the string, right? I hope everyone is clear, no doubt. If you have still any doubts, you can clarify now so that we can go to the next point. Everyone clear with this? Function constructor, right? Yes. Okay. Now, after this, no need to return a parameter. So already we saw one syntax here. You see directly we are using multiple statements to handle. It is not returning any value, right? It is doing some functionality. The first example is that. No. Yes. So technically this the function. So here I already told you, right? It have the behavior of function as well as behavior of methods. JavaScript can handle everything as a procedure. Am I right? Remember that? Right? Right. Function return type can be a function also. I will tell you. You will learn about that. Currently, we are discussing on function constructor. Don't go outside that point. Just concentrate on that particular. What is return type? What is the parameters? Can we pass this parameter, that parameter? That is not the point for us. Currently, function constructor. We stick to that concept. Then you will later learn about parameters and others. Right, fine. So this is the basic point here, basic approach, how you need to handle them. Next, important, we discussed about another concept, that is lambda. Lambda, as I already told you, it is a shorthand notation of writing function. Shorthand notation of writing function. So how we write the lambda functions? So we will see that it's a shorthand notation of writing function. So generally it allows to minify the. So parameters implies and return. Parameters and return. This is a simple way of configuring. We can, I will show you that. That means it can have empty and it can have return. That means you can define the params and return. Actually, this is implies is defined as return. There are several points here. We can use params, without params also, and we can define statement. This is block. Block is multiple statements here. This is the short way of writing the functions, configuring the function. So that means actually this symbol indicates, so function parameters, and this indicates the definition and return, and this is indicating a block for encapsulation, encapsulating statements, block for encapsulating multiple statements. So these are the basic notations we have to use for. So, and important is, you see now, suppose how do we write the lambda options? So generally, so I am writing like this. Generally I am writing in this way, implies like this. I am writing like this, and let's compile this and see. When I write like this, let's compile this and see. So we will compile this. So TSC, and it is compiled. JavaScript file is created for it. Open the JavaScript file and see. It is denoted as a function. And see, it is an anonymous function because it is not having a name. It is configured as an anonymous function. That means if I write the syntax in this way, so that means if I write the syntax in this way, so then it is going to return. That means this is going to return. This syntax is going to return this signature here. That means it is an anonymous. This is defined. So this is defined in TS. And returns in JavaScript. So that's what actually it is trying to transform your logic. So that means now it is anonymous, and you know how to call the anonymous function. How do we call the anonymous function? So it can be defined with a name now. It can be defined with a name. How you generally define with a name? That means here we can add a reference name. So let some reference name, that is suppose hello, and is equal to, that's how we are configuring. Now it is an anonymous function with the reference name as hello. That means it is loaded into and it is configured. Remember, all lambda functions are anonymous. All lambda functions are anonymous. So that is the basic point you have to know. So this is the another point we have to say. All lambda functions are anonymous. So they should have a reference name. So we need to configure with a reference name. That means here I have to write like this. That means the reference name is now hello. Through hello, we can access that function and use the function. Now important is this parenthesis is also not required if you are using only one parameter. This flower brace is also not required. You can write in a simple way like this. This is, here I am defining as some John. This is username, uname, and implies. And here I am writing an expression. So hello, and dollar, and I say uname. That's how we are configuring. So this is a function parameter. This is a function parameter. And it is defining this result, means it is returning this result. Remember, it is returning this result. That means it is returning a string. We have to print that string. Or you can write a statement. Right here, I can write a statement like console.log. So console.log. That means here I am not defining this here. Simply console.log. And it should print this hello and that username. You can configure in this way. So you can configure in this way. That means this is the function parameter and it is printing it. So here I'm adding hello. That's it. And it is expecting the parameter now. We need to pass that parameter. And the parameter is some John. And I'm compiling this now. So it is going to handle that and display the value. That's how we configure the lambda. That means a simple. So this is an example how we can define the function. If there are no parameters to be passed, so that means this is with parameter. So it can be with multiple parameters. For example, here I am multiple parameters, then I put a berries. And here I am defining name and price. And here I am printing the details like name is equal to dollar, so name. And in the next line, price is equal to dollar, so price. We are accessing it. And we need to pass those two according to the signature. So here string. So is name. So that is so TV, and price here I defined some value. I am configuring that value. Now important, this is and when we pass this here, it is able to handle those multiple parameters also. It is able to handle the multiple parameters. If you are configuring multiple parameters with multiple parameters, you have to configure in this important. So it can be without parameters. So without parameters. So parameterless, then I can just keep this empty. And here I can just put the message. So what message you want to display? So that is welcome to Lambda. Okay. And here I just call that here. And this is a function and no parameters. And this is what it has to perform. That means it can handle that functionality here. And you can see this is going to return this welcome to Lambda. So this is without the parameter. So we are configuring. Important is it can have one parameter, multiple parameters. So it can even here restrict here, suppose name as string, and the price as number. We can restrict the parameters. By default, it is taken as any. And here we are printing. So name is equal to dollar name, and the price is equal to dollar price. We are printing those details, and here we need to pass those values. And here I said some name is a string and price is a number. So you need to follow those standards. If I define this price as a string, then it is invalid because it is strictly typed to handle only that particular type here, because you configured the type, you defined the type. So that means, so with strictly, you can say strongly typed parameters. It can be with strongly typed parameters. It can be with multiple statements. So that means it can be configured with multiple statements. So we can configure for multiple statements. Suppose this is a simple function, and here multiple statements. And if you are expecting multiple statements, then you need to use the flower brace. It is only required when you are defining multiple statements. So you want multiple statements. Then in this, I'm configuring here. So console.log, and that is here statement one, and semicolon, then console.log, and this is statement two. We can configure this, and it has to execute the statements and display those statements. That means you are configuring multiple statements here. Then you can use the parenthesis. That means you can use the flower brace for configuring multiple statements. So this is the short notation of representing the parameters and using the parameters. The short notation of representing and configuring the parameters. So here important is when we are defining Lambda. So according to the requirement, you can make it strictly typed, you can strongly typed with parameters, without parameters, one statement, multiple statement. But Lambda is used for anonymous representation, for anonymous function representation. So that requires a reference name in the memory so that we can access and use it. So here we can use everywhere wherever we are dealing with anonymous type. For example, now I am creating here, just to make you understand here. LET products is an any type. It is an array of products. So it have name, some Samsung TV. Category as electronics. It has some name as some Nike casuals, and a category as footwear. So this we have defined some name, another object, some name as some speakers. Okay. And category as electronics. Okay. Now I want to display only electronic products. I will create results is equal to. I need to get only electronic products. Then usually we discussed about products is an array. We can use filter. Actually, filter requires a callback function. So the callback function for filter is a function, and function is search. Into that we have to pass a parameter product, and it has to return only the product whose category is matching with electronics. That is our search string, electronics. Now, you people tell me how to write this function in a shorthand way. Write and send me, I will see. That search function in a shorthand way. And remember, you don't need to use any variable name LET like that, because we want to use it as anonymous inside the filter function. So it doesn't require any name. Then how you will write this in a lambda way? Write and send me, I will see. It should return electronics, na? Product category should be electronics. How many parameters are there here? One parameter is there. If one parameter is there, I think parenthesis also not required. Am I right? Huh? Yes. And that return keyword is nothing but this implies. So will work as return. Am I right? It works as a return. Then according to that, how you can write this search function? As anonymous function. Okay. You don't need to write return keyword anymore, because that implies itself tells return. Am I right? You don't need LET. Okay. So that is, you have to write that function inside filter. Actually, in the filter method, we have to write. I am just asking that how to write that search function in a shorthand way. I am asking you how to write that search function in a shorthand way. Here you can see a search function. Okay. So many people have sent this. That's good. Okay. See, Actually, how we can write in a shorthand way. So first, what is the parameter name? What is the parameter name? Product is the parameter name. So because this product parameter collects every product from the collection, am I right? From the collection, right? Yeah. So parameter is mandatory, na? Parameter is mandatory. Yes. Then what is the parameter? Product. Okay. Implies it should return. What it should return? Already there, na? Simple. That is product dot category is equal to electronics. That's it. Understood? Understood? That's it. Because actually, I need to write that function inside this. That means, remember, already we learned filter function uses a callback function inside it. Inside filter, we need a callback function. That means generally, filter function is written in this way. Filter function is written in this way. Generally, filter function is written in this way. So products dot filter, and it requires a function. In that function, product parameter implies. So return product dot category is equal to electronics. Electronics. To keep it more simplified for you to understand, suppose I'm writing like this. Okay. So that should return that product category and display. I hope you understood now. Now this we have to write like this: products dot filter. So product implies product dot category is equal to electronics. Electronics. That's how we need to configure. That's simple. So that means this is the parameter and this is returning the product category matching with electronics. That's how we need to configure. That is coming in results now. Results is an array now. Because we learned that filter will return, we don't need this function anymore because we return it in a shorthand way now. We return it in a shorthand way. So now that ready, the results are present here. Now filter returns an array. Then the results is an array of all electronic products. So we want to print their names. Then for var item of results, and we need to print only item dot name because it is having two fields, name and category. I want to print only item name. That means it will get and filter only those details. It will get and filter only those details. Only Samsung TV and speakers. So this is how it defines. Now important here, one more option is LET, electronics count. Electronics count. I need to get electronics count. How many electronic products are there? I want the count. Now tell me how you will write the function. How many electronic products are there? I don't want those products. I want only count. Count. That means this is expecting a number. It is expecting a number. How many electronic products are there? Count I want. Then how you will get it? Lambda, tell me how to write the filter function now. So I don't want how many electronic products are there. I want how many electronics count. There is no count method. There is no count method. I want how many electronic products are there, only count. How you can get that? How you can configure and get that? Ankit Gupta. So you need to just modify this current one. You don't need to do any new logic there. Very simple, yeah. So now tell me what this is returning. This line is returning. What that line is returning? It is returning an array. Am I right? Array of what products it is returning? Array of what products it is returning? Electronic products. Then dot length. That's it. Understood? Huh? That means now it will not return the array. It will return only the length. Understood? You don't need to do any special logic here. It's you are returning an array and you know how to use the length of array, how to get the length of array. If you know that it is returning an array, then how to return the length is also so easy, right? We can understand that. Why you don't have any count method, na? Count method, initializing, incrementing, decrementing. Why you need all that? Array length, dot length. How to know the size of array? Length property. And you know that this is returning array. Then that dot length will return the total count. That means here, how do we configure that? How do we configure that? That means simply products dot filter. In that product implies product dot category. Category is equal to electronics. It returns array, but we want only the length of that. That's it. Length. That means all electronics count is present here. That means here I will put console.log total number of just here. Yeah. Total number of electronic products, and it is present in electronics count. It contains total number of electronic products. It will get that. So simply we can filter and display that. Now later, if I am adding one more electronic product, it will update automatically. Suppose somewhere I am adding here, so name, so this is mobile, and some category, and say electronics, and I will compile this now and run this again, and this time the total number of electronic products 3. You can change the filter according to the requirement. You can use any type of operation there to handle. Right? So this is the basic thing. That's the reason you learnt array. And once you learnt array, so here, We created results array to store the results, to print the results. You can directly do anything, na? Right? So already we know that by default everything will be treated as any type, na? It is any type. Any type means it can handle everything. What do you think? Any type means what? Primitive types, non-primitive types, anything, na? Yeah. Then it can be designated as an array or a number or a string. You can use any operator. You can use AND operator. You can use OR operator. Here I am just using equal. Right here I am just using equal. Right. And you can combine with multiple expressions also, na? Multiple expressions also you can write, right? It's not mandatory that you have to write only one. So or and you can match both of them, right? That means category must be electronics and the product name must be mobile. Then you can filter only that. That means here you can use the expression. So you can concatenate. You can concatenate. That means it should be and double ampersand. And here we are defining product dot name is equal to mobile. We are defining that. You can use or you can use any syntactical references you can write here. That means it is going to return only those which are matching this. You can write anyway. But here, while constructing the expression, you need to be careful in constructing that expression. So here total electronics now only one. Why? Because I return only in the length. You have to write here also, na? Same. We want to display only those details. Then here also we need to use and product dot name is equal to mobile. In that case, it should get only the details and display. You can use multiple also. You can configure and define multiple also. And or anything you can do. So that is complete your logical expression, how you want to build that. Right. This is how we define lambda. So this is how we define the lambda. Right. This is one example of configuring it, handling it. Right. Lambda expression, how we define and callback function is written in a shorthand way now. Am I right? Now callback function is written in a shorthand way. Am I right? Now don't say that callback function is shorthand. In this case, it is shorthand. It need not to be that every callback function is shorthand. Shorthand, you are using lambda expression to keep it shorthand. Am I right? You are using lambda expression to keep it shorthand. Right. That is generally how we configure lambda. So how to handle lambda with various techniques. These are all the various techniques of lambda. So that is one important thing you should know. So these are all the various denotation types of expression function. Now we need to understand function parameters and function return types, function recursions, right? So function has some more important points to understand. Function parameters, function return types, function recursions, what they are. Then you will clearly understand about parameters and return types and recursions when we need them, how to deal with them. First point is, what are parameters and how the parameters are configured? What are the rules about parameters? These are all big points to understand. That we will do in the next session, right? We will do that on Monday. So Monday, I will finish this function concept and we will discuss about other OOP concepts. I told you already, it will take 3-4 more sessions to finish TypeScript. So we will finish this OOP concepts, then we can start Angular now. Mostly the coming week, we will start working with Angular now directly. And till now, whatever the topics are finished, I will keep a simple test like assignment I will post you. So you have to do those exercises and submit me. All right. So tomorrow I will post some exercises. You try to do them and send me so that I can verify. Right. Right. Always for TypeScript, you follow the official TypeScript language website, typescriptlanguage.org. That is enough. Nobody else you need to follow, right? Right. Okay, then. So Monday we will continue with this. Yes, Kundan Kumar, what